everyone! Welcome to my first video ever. So I just got into reading manga and watching anime this year. I don't personally know anyone who reads manga, so I'm really hoping to meet some new people here in the comments so we can just talk about manga together. I've already picked up a lot of action manga this year, but honestly, I really love the romance genre. So I went to Barnes & Noble and just blindly picked up a bunch of romance volume 1s that I could find, which ended up being 25 volumes. So it's a pretty big haul. I've read all 25 and wow, what have I been missing? I really love a lot of these and I'm glad I picked them up. Even the ones I don't plan to continue as of now, I still really enjoyed, and there is a chance I'll revisit them later. So I'm going to give my brief review of the volume 1s and whether I'll be continuing or not, but I'll keep the summary of the story brief because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So let's have some fun, but just a reminder, please let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree with any of my takes, or if certain series get better or worse in the following volumes. And by the way, I'm super open to recommendations. It doesn't have to be romance, it can be whatever you like. So let's get started. So before I go into the individual volumes I bought, I just wanted to note that I did pre-order the box sets for Rent a Girlfriend, Sweat and Soap, and Love is Hard for Otaku. So I did not pick up those volume 1s, but I'm very excited in reading those series. I also watched and loved the My Dress Up Darling anime and ordered the manga series as well. Lastly, I did finish A Silent Voice and Rosa Versailles, which were both very enjoyable series for me and I loved them both. So now that you know everything that I've read, please leave any recommendations for me. I'd love to hear what all of you think and what you might think I might like. I am just open to anything. And in advance, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of the names wrong from the series, or if maybe more volumes are released than I originally stated. But anyways, just let me know, and thanks for watching. So let's get started. So this first manga is called The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World. This is about a more introverted woman who is over 30 who gets transported to another world and is considered a savior, or someone who has really powerful magic capabilities. So using her magic, she opens up her own book cafe since she loves to read, and this is where she meets a captain soldier who starts to frequent her cafe. Alright, so I love this manga so much. It really feels like the start of a beautiful fairy tale romance. It just has a very quaint and charming feel to it that just really relaxed me while I was reading this. The art is super charming as well. I loved the main character's introverted personality. She just wants a simple life and to read. She doesn't need a lot to be happy, and I love that about her. I also really like that the love interest also seems to be introverted and loves reading, so they get to develop their bond through their shared interest. That's just super cute to me. I can really feel the chemistry between the two characters, and I just can't wait to see how their relationship grows and deepens. Also, these two just look so cute together. Honestly, I love the vibe of this story. I'm definitely going to be continuing this one. Definitely going to pre-order the next 2 volumes. So there's currently only 2 English physical releases as of today, and the story is still ongoing. Alright, so this one's called Horimiya. Let me just first say I love that the title of this series is a combination of the 2 leading characters' names. So she goes by Hori and he goes by Miyamura. So super cute. anyways, this manga is set in high school, so she's the popular, smart, and beautiful girl that everyone wants to befriend, and he's the reserved and more boring type. And as luck would have it, they end up spending a lot of time together because Miyamura ends up befriending Hori's younger brother. So she doesn't even know it's him at first, which is the funny part, because outside of school, he actually doesn't wear glasses and he has a bunch of tattoos and piercings and rocks this bad boy look. So overall, this is just a super cute premise for a story. It was very fun to read, and I always love the there's more than meets the eye type story. I just love that apparently he's super hot outside of school, but in school no one notices because he's always covered up. That's just real fun for me. But anyways, I felt like the story was more of a slow burn, and honestly, a lot of the manga I read in this haul, everyone was expressing their feelings to each other pretty early on, but this one seems like it may drag on for a few volumes, which I'm actually excited about. I mean, I'm fine if it's not a slow burn, but I did appreciate the variety that came with this title. I do also like that they acknowledge their feelings to themselves, but they're not ready to share anything, obviously, too direct with each other. But I did really like the cute, few sly, somewhat romantic comments from Miyamura here and there that would get Hori nervous, so that really pumps up the tension. But anyways, I'm super excited to continue this series. I know there's an anime already out, and I think it's completed, but I'm probably going to just read the manga first and then watch the anime. But let me know in the comments if you prefer one over the other. Anyways, this manga is completed with 15 volumes released, and I will definitely be continuing this. This manga is called Love and Heart, and it's more of a thriller type. So reading it, it kind of reminded me of the show You on Netflix. So she has an unexpected new roommate, and it's this guy who definitely blended himself there through creepy and sketchy means. He's always there when she needs him, but it's more of an obsessive stalker type way. So I did enjoy reading this, but I'm trying to be more critical. So with the critical lens on, this series is not a priority for me. I'm really curious to see how the actual romance may develop and all the drama that may ensue once she finds out how obsessive and possessive he is. It just wasn't my thing, to be honest. I mean, I had a lot of fun reading it, but I guess I was just looking for more cozy romances. But this is definitely fun if you're into a more exciting thriller type, unconventional romance. But I will probably be prioritizing other series over this one. But I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a lower priority for me. So there's currently 4 volumes released, and it is still ongoing, I believe. This manga is called Ima Koi, and right off the bat, I saw this cover on the shelf and knew I had to buy this one. This cover is super cute, and I just love the color tone. So this story is about a girl who missed out on her middle school crush because she was too shy to tell him. But I mean, can we blame her? It's middle school. But anyways, so now in high school, she doesn't want to make the same mistake again. So right at the beginning of the story, this guy protects her from a harasser on the train, and she goes out of her way to talk to him and to thank him. And from there on, their relationship starts to develop. Man, I loved this first volume. This series only has 1 volume, but I cannot wait for more. For me, this was such an easy and calming read. And I love that she is so forward in trying to get his attention, and she just really pushes herself to say what's on her mind. And I just love that in a female character. So this year, I watched the anime Orange, and great anime, by the way, but my goodness, that lead character was clueless and her communication skills were poor, or I would just be crying, not because anything sad was happening, but just because she wasn't getting her words out and she would hardly ever speak up. So this for me was a breath of fresh air for me to just see this character going for it and making the first move. I loved this about her. And I thought he was super sweet as well and really chill, just calm, smooth, kind of nice, friendly, easygoing. They also really drew him super cute. Like, he's pretty stylish. And I just think that this couple is just adorable. But I'll be honest, they did get together pretty fast, like really fast, where they just kind of committed to each other. But that excites me in a way, just because now I have no idea what's gonna come next or what kind of drama might happen between these two. But as of now, their relationship is at an A, as well as this first volume. Communication is very good between them. And even when it's not the best at times, the main character, she's gonna push herself to try and be better and do better to communicate her feelings to him. And I love that for them in this series. Anyways, this manga only has one volume, like I mentioned, and I'll definitely be continuing. Alright, this one is called The Demon Prince of Momochi House. So I saw the cover of this and it reminded me of the Mikote in Final Fantasy XIV online. So it was an instant buy for me. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. But anyways, in this manga, she is an orphan who inherits an estate she's never visited before, and when she visits, she meets 3 good-looking boys she initially thinks are squatters, but they actually protect the house from evil spirits. So you can see the love interest spirit form on the front cover right here. Super cute. I thought this manga was an enjoyable read. I mean, I really love the cute spirits that would show up throughout the story. I thought the artwork for these spirits was very nice. The relationship was quite cute and romantic as well. But for me, I just didn't really connect with the characters as much, so I probably won't be continuing this one. But I'll be honest, I really liked how attentive and protective he was for the main character. It was a really sweet romance. I'll give it that. But like I said, for me, it's just not a priority. And actually, I realized after reading this one that I tend to be more interested in more grounded stories in terms of romance rather than fantasy, I would say. Not saying all fantasy romance is not for me, but I realized that I was connecting more, I would say, with the grounded stories. But like I said, super cute, just maybe not for me. But thumbs up for those really cute spirits though. Anyways, this has 16 volumes and it is completed. Alright, this one is called Takane and Hana. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing their names wrong. It could be Takane, I'm not sure, but I think it's Takane, so I'm just gonna say that. And maybe it's Hana and not Hana, but anyways. Alright, so he is the heir to a very powerful conglomerate in Japan, and she is just an ordinary high school student. She pretends to be her sister in an arranged marriage meeting set up by Takane's grandfather. She has to do this because her sister already has a boyfriend and doesn't want to go, and her dad doesn't want to be rude because he works for one of the subsidiaries. So she shows up to this arranged marriage meeting and it just turns out into a big spectacle. It's pretty hilarious. And from there on, their relationship develops. All right, everyone. I absolutely loved this one and thoroughly enjoyed my experience reading this rom-com. I swear, I was laughing out loud and grinning ear to ear reading this alone. Like, if someone saw me, they probably would have been like, wow, she's having a lot of fun over there. But anyways, let me just first say that this story does have an age gap. So if you're not really comfortable with that, maybe skip this one. But he's 26 and she is 16. At first, I was like, ugh. But they kept it completely PG, and I'm sure they'll maybe age over the series as it continues. But regardless of their age, they both have super strong personalities and are very outspoken and kind of stuck in their ways. And their relationship is hilarious. It's super funny. They're constantly taking jabs and making fun of and pranking each other. But because they do this, they have this very, very good chemistry. So when I'm reading it, it's such an easy read. And I bet the rest of the story is only going to get even funnier. So even though I did mention there's a lot of funny shenanigans and all that, there are very few soft moments, which actually really balance out the story and make it kind of special in its own way. I just can't stop gushing about this story. Anyways, I can't wait to see the character development and how their relationship may turn more serious. So I'd love to see it go from super funny and joke heavy to a more serious grown-up romance. I just know it's only going to get better from here. Also, I really like the way Takane was drawn. I think he looks very cute and handsome. He reminds me of a dark-haired Ash Lynx from Banana Fish. By the way, everyone, I'm obsessed with Banana Fish. I've read about 11 volumes of the manga and watched the entire anime. Love, love, love Banana Fish. So this just kind of reminded me, like I said, of a dark-haired version of Ash. Anyways, this was so fun to read. I am 100% going to be buying more volumes of this ASAP. And since it's already completed, I can just probably binge through the entire story. So this story has 18 volumes and is completed. So this one is called Devil's Line, and as soon as I saw the dark cover, I just knew this had to be some maybe dark and hot romance. So I definitely got this for the variety. So this main character is a half-devil who saves his love interest, a college student, from another devil, or vampire as they call it, and after that, he starts visiting her apartment quite frequently. This main character right here, he also works in an underground division of the police that takes care of devil-related crime in Tokyo. So he tries to balance his job and also developing his relationship with this college girl. So I did enjoy the development of their relationship in this first volume, and I really liked how you can just see them grow more comfortable around each other. And I think the chemistry between the characters is very nice. I can really feel that tension and the strong desire for one another pretty well. But honestly, I just don't really like the art style. And I think art is so important for wanting to buy a manga. So for me, it just didn't connect with me. The story was pretty good. Just the art, didn't really connect for me. That's probably why I won't be continuing. But I do think the art is quite unique in a way. It's just not for me. But let me know if any of you out there actually love the art or think I should, continue this story. But for me, this is not a priority. But I could definitely see myself picking up volume 2 maybe down the line, or there's nothing else to read or I don't find any interesting stories, because this does have an interesting premise. And I do believe that the chemistry is pretty well done in this series between the two leads. Anyways, the series is completed and there are 14 volumes. This one is called Komi Can't Communicate, and I know everyone really likes this story, and I know it's pretty popular, so I just knew I had to pick it up. So the main character, Komi, has extreme trouble communicating with others in her high school because she has high social anxiety. But basically, everyone just thinks she's too cool for school, so they don't understand that she actually wants to be friends with them. So another classmate and maybe potential love interest, the second main character, gets to know her a little more, and he goes out of his way to help her on a mission to achieve 100 friends. So this is what she really wants, is just 100 friends. So I'm thinking this might be more of a slice of life manga than a full-blown romance. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just was not interested in the plot while reading this. It's a really cute story, don't get me wrong. And it really felt like a fun kind of just easy read. But it was definitely a slow burn. And it just did not sell me on wanting to continue the series. It also didn't leave off on a cliffhanger, encouraging me to buy volume 2 in any way. So for me, it's just, I don't think I'll be picking up the next volumes. But let me know in the comments if you disagree, or if you were in my place at one point, kept reading and it completely changed. Or maybe you loved the first volume and you think I'm crazy, but I just found it to be boring, sadly. I wasn't particularly interested in either of the two main characters or their growing friendship. Yeah, I was pretty sad that I just wasn't feeling it, because I know everyone talks so much good stuff about this one. I wanted to connect with it as well, but it is what it is. So let me know. Oh, also, let me know if you prefer the anime to the manga, or if I should just continue reading the manga. Honestly, I'm interested in reading anyone's opinion, or, what your thoughts are. But anyways, this series has 18 volumes and is ongoing. This one is called Vampire Dormitory, and I love vampires, so I just knew I had to pick this one up. So Mito is the main character. She is a beautiful girl, but dresses and acts like a boy on purpose in order to reduce attention from those around her. Ruka is a vampire who saves Mito in an accident, and in exchange for letting Ruka the vampire drink her blood, Mito can live in the boys' dorm. But the interesting and fun part here is that no one knows that Mito is actually a girl, so this makes certain elements of the story very fun and interesting. So overall, I'd say this was a fun and easy read. I think it was much better than I thought it was going to be going into it. It did leave off on a cliffhanger, which I like. So even though I don't think this story is for me, I do feel somewhat more motivated to buy volume 2 because there was a cliffhanger. I think the main leads had a decent chemistry and attraction. Not as good as Devil's Line chemistry, but still pretty good. I didn't particularly love any characters, but like I said, I do plan on maybe picking this up in the future if I can't find anything else. Only because, I love vampires. There does seem to be a love triangle forming, and the drama to ensue can be very interesting. But for me, I'm just not sold on it right now based off of the other volumes of the other series I've read. So for me, it's a no as of right now. But let me just say one thing about this series. I do think it's cute that Ruka the vampire is a secret otaku. I thought this added a really cute and fun element to this story. But anyways, overall, no for right now, but I think it's good. There are 8 volumes and it is completed. This is called Cheeky Brat. So this manga takes place in high school. Yuki is a second year and the basketball team manager, and Naruse is a first year who is on the basketball team, who really likes Yuki. Yuki dislikes him at first, but that does change in this first volume. These two characters are very different from one another. So she's the very responsible and strict with herself and the team type, always by the book. And Naruse is more of a bad boy, kind of like a clown, more spontaneous, very much more blunt and candid. So overall, they're pretty different in terms of who they are as characters. But oh my gosh, I loved this manga so much more than I expected I would. I thought this was going to be a joke romance just based on the front cover and just the beginning of the story. But wow, guys, their chemistry is off the charts. Honestly, I felt like I was getting butterflies reading this. I thought this was so good, and just I'm surprised I don't really see that many people talking about it. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I just started reading this year, but this one is so good. It really, really surprised me. And I just think this was a very sweet romance, and it felt very unique. It was also fun watching their connection grow, especially from the perspective of Yuki, who would have never guessed that she would start falling for Naruse. Like, I love that it was unexpected for her. And let me just say, I love Naruse as a character. I just think he's so entertaining to read about. He's super blunt and just saying whatever comes to his mind. There's like no BS. He'll just say how he's feeling. And I just find that so fun because it really puts Yuki on the spot quite often. And, you know, she starts having meltdowns and can't speak, and she's just like annoyed and irritated. It's just hilarious. It's cute. It's flirty, romantic. But because they're so different, a lot of good tension comes from it. I just can't wait to see all the random things that these two are going to do in the future volumes, and how maybe their relationship might become more serious and how they'll start accepting each other more. I can't stop gushing about this one. I loved this one, honestly, genuinely loved it. And currently the series has 2 volumes and is ongoing. And I will definitely be buying the next volumes. So this one is called Lovesick Ellie, and this manga takes place in high school. Ellie is a plain Jane girl who is obsessed with her very cute and perfect and popular classmate, Omi. And basically, Ellie loves tweeting romantic fantasy content about Omi online constantly. He finds out about it, and they actually end up developing a relationship because of this. So similar to Cheeky Brat, I was super surprised that I actually ended up liking this as much as I did. At first, it kind of started like a joke of a romance. I mean, just first glance at the back cover, it says, #pervy girl meets two-faced boy. I saw this and I was like, what the heck is this rom-com? So honestly, that's what made me pick this up. But anyways, by the end of the volume, I could see the character depth and potential backstory content for these characters. Like, there's a reason why they act the way they do. So I'm really interested in learning more about these two. And I actually do think that they have a good chemistry. I thought their relationship so far is pretty cute and fun and innocent, but you know, like I said, I'm really interested in seeing the development and how this fun relationship might turn into something more mature and deep as they start to uncover each other's true identities. So, based off of reading this first volume, I am definitely going to be picking up the next volumes. There are currently 3, and the series is ongoing. This manga is called Maid-Sama, and this is about a student council president who secretly works at a maid cafe, and a popular boy in high school finds out about her secret, and from there they start to develop their relationship. So I just want to be clear, I only read volume 1. This copy includes volume 1 and 2, but I didn't read the second one just to stay consistent with my review of volume 1s. But overall, I'd say this manga was okay. It was pretty good. I know this one is super popular, so I know this opinion might not be shared by a lot of people. But for me, I just didn't enjoy their chemistry as much as I did with the other couples in the other series. I think it just comes down to me not connecting with these characters as much as the others. I didn't really feel the tension and excitement as much as the others, but maybe that's just because the future volumes will have, more of this development and excitement. But overall, for me, it just didn't really hit home for me. And also, I am not that big of a fan of this older art style. I think it's cute, just like I said, not a priority. I will obviously read volume 2 because it's included in this copy, but I will probably be checking out the other series before I go back to Maid-Sama. What I did like about it was the maid cafe setting, which is kind of fun. I have personally been to Tokyo myself and been to a maid cafe, and I know how fun those can be, so it was nice being reminded about the experience. But overall, this is an okay for me and not a priority, but I will be reading volume 2. So this series is finished and there are 18 volumes. This manga is called Living Room Matsunaga-san. So this story is about a high schooler, Miko, who moves into her uncle's boarding house. There she meets a few different roommates. One of them ends up being her love interest, Matsunaga, who's a grumpy and hot-headed graphic designer. So let me just say that this story also has an age gap. She's 17 and he's 27, but it's really not bad. They kept the story PG. No issues here. I really enjoyed the vibe of this one. It feels like a modern sitcom with a variety cast of characters. So I think the overall premise is pretty fun. It gives me that cozy feeling when I'm reading this story. I also think the developing romance is also very natural, and I really liked how sweet and innocent the main character is. Let me just point out that I do love the larger format on this series. Looking at the art is so much easier. Sometimes words can be printed so small it's harder to read on the other series, but this book, this size is beautiful. I really hope more manga series goes for a larger size. But overall, I think this one is a cute story, and I will be picking up the future volumes since it did leave on a cliffhanger at the end of this story. I can't wait to see their romance develop and see where the story goes. So this series has 10 volumes and is currently ongoing. This is called Love of Kill. So this manga is about two assassins. The male assassin likes the female assassin, and he tries to connect with her on multiple occasions throughout this volume. She does not like him, by the way, but she has to deal with him because he keeps on taking her assigned targets. So overall, this was a no for me. I was not interested in either character or their backstory, and I don't think I care to know in the future. I did not find the male assassin funny or endearing, just kind of weird. This is probably my least favorite from the entire haul, and I plan on not picking up any more of this series. Let me know in the comments if I'm totally off base here, but I just did not care for this story at all, really. I kind of had no emotions reading this story, which is not what I want, to be frank. But usually I can walk away liking characters at least, even if the plot is weak, but this did not have either plot or character development for me. So no, I will not be picking this up. Also, I don't really like the way the male assassin looks. I don't think he looks very cute or handsome, unfortunately. So the art is all right, and so far it's just a no for me. So I know there's an anime, so please let me know if maybe the anime's better, or maybe this story or this manga gets better in the future. But yeah, it's a no. Anyways, this series has 7 volumes and is ongoing. This is called Kaguya-sama Love is War. So this story is about 2 main characters who are on the student council. They're both seen as elite in their high school, and they both actually like each other. They just don't want to admit it to each other because they don't want to appear weak, and they have way too much pride. So they're both just waiting for the other to express their feelings first. So overall, this was a very fun psychological rom-com. I think the story is very unique from the others since it isn't just a romance, but it's full of psychological mind games. There even was a page of brain teasers that I tried to do, but I just didn't know the answers, so I just had to look. But honestly, I'm excited to see what lengths these 2 will go to in order for the other to admit their feelings. I have a feeling it's going to become very far-fetched, which will be very entertaining. I also like that both of these characters are very studious and intelligent. However, they're just not great in the romance department because they're extreme overthinkers. I think that's pretty fun, and it levels out, how successful they are. Overall, this first volume just oozes potential character development, so I'm excited to see what happens in the future volumes. I will definitely be picking up more volumes, and I'm excited to read more. But let me know your thoughts on the anime, since I think already season 3 is out, so don't know if you all prefer the anime to the manga or vice versa, but I'll definitely be reading manga before the anime. But just let me know your thoughts in the comments. So currently this series has 22 volumes and is ongoing. This manga is called A Perfect World. So this story is about 2 individuals in their mid-20s who are reunited at a company get-together. The female lead had a crush on the male lead back in high school. So a romance is rekindled upon seeing each other again. The only difference from high school and now is that the male lead is in a wheelchair due to a spinal cord injury. So I thought this romance was a calming read that was very sweet. I like that the main character is very dedicated, loyal, and supportive to the male lead. I think she's very kind and soft, which I think is very nice and kind of, the variety I was looking for from all the rom-coms I picked up. And I think the male lead has a lot of potential growth in how he views himself and the world to come in future volumes. So this makes me really excited to continue this series so I can see that character development happen. Also, I really enjoyed that this story was about 2 individuals who are working adults with current obtainable work aspirations, thus allowing for, hopefully, a more mature love story. I've had a lot of fun reading about high schoolers, but this offered me a nice balance, to be honest. So I will definitely be reading more, and I'm very excited to see the male lead's character growth. So currently there are 10 volumes and this series is ongoing. This one is called Call of the Night. This story is about a 14-year-old boy who is a loner and who also doesn't have very many friends and also has insomnia. He wanders the streets at night and comes across a spunky vampire girl. After that, they continue to meet repeatedly. There's also a potential love triangle occurring since another friend enters the story as well. So let me just first say that I think this cover is so cute and super fun. Also, the vampire really reminded me of the student council president from Kakegurui. So I just love this hairstyle and their aesthetic. So I was really excited to read this. Unfortunately, I just didn't really connect with this story. I thought it was just okay. None of the characters or their dilemmas really resonated with me, but I do think this is a cute read, especially if you're into vampires. I did enjoy the story overall. It's just not a priority for me, to be honest. I'll probably pick it up in the future, but as of now, there are just other series that I'd rather read ahead of this one. I know there is an anime coming out, so I will definitely be checking that out and seeing how good the first episode is. But yeah, I was really excited, but I felt kind of let down. I wish I liked it more, but it is what it is. So this series has 7 volumes and is currently ongoing. This is called Say I Love You. So this manga is set in high school. The girl is an outspoken loner and the boy is a popular player who ends up being intrigued by the female lead based on an interaction early in the story. So overall, I liked this story. I think the 2 leading characters have great chemistry with one another. Even though she's very untrusting of him at the beginning, you can really see her start to like him, and it's very, very nice. I also really liked the grunge aesthetic I got from this manga. Their styles are cute, haircuts are cute, just vibe is really cool. But I really didn't like the side characters or their personalities or motivations. I just didn't really care for their side stories at all. I know we're not supposed to like them probably, but I think it just took away from getting to know the 2 leads. But I'm sure all of that is there in the future volumes. Just based off of my first impression, I probably will not prioritize this story. I did enjoy it. I just think there are other series that I will read first. But I definitely want to come back to this series because I know there's an anime. So I'll read the series first and then watch the anime. So currently this series has 18 volumes and is completed. This is called Something's Wrong With Us. So this manga is about a woman who's been making confections since she was a child. She ends up marrying and living with the man who supposedly framed her mother for murder when they were younger and living together. So this man currently has his own confections company that he's trying to revamp as well. So, wow, I love this story. Even though there was no romance in the first volume and more so a lot of tension and suspense, this volume was amazing. There's a very sweet, sexy, and dangerous vibe to this story that I really am attracted to. I think that's what they were going for, and they definitely achieved it. I 100% want to read more. I also greatly enjoyed the artwork since it looks like a period piece. The story is set in the present day, but the backdrop has a traditional Japanese setting. I'm excited to see how the romance will blossom since currently they're not each other's favorite person. Let's leave it at that. So this series has 8 volumes and is currently ongoing. I am definitely going to be picking up more. This is called After the Rain. So this manga is about a 17-year-old high schooler who was a former track star prior to injuring her foot. She works at a restaurant and has a huge crush on the restaurant manager, who is a 45-year-old divorced and single parent who's portrayed to have nothing very special about him. So first things first, she looks beautiful on this front cover. Since this is called After the Rain, I found a soft rain music playlist on Spotify and listened to it while I read, and wow, what an amazing experience. Let me just say that some of the artwork in the panels are gorgeous. Like, my mouth would drop open sometimes. It just exuded a certain vibe that this story just really captured. Very calming, sad, but hopeful vibe. I don't know, I can't explain it. It was a great experience reading this. But let me just say once again, there is an age gap. So I don't know how far their relationship will develop, but currently I think this is a very delicate and soft love story. There was just, like I said, something very calming about reading this manga, and I cannot wait to read more volumes. I also like that both of the individuals feel like outcasts in their own way, so maybe they will find some comfort in each other as the story progresses. I will definitely be picking up more volumes, and I'm excited to finish this story, especially since there are only 5 volumes and the series is completed. This manga is called Fly Me to the Moon, which I think is an adorable title. So this story is about a teenager who is very space-centric. He gets into an accident but is saved by a mysterious girl with unknown powers. He asks her out and she agrees, but only if he marries her. She disappears and then reappears when he's 18. Then they start living together. He lives alone, by the way. But they do get married and become like a regular couple as husband and wife. So this was a very cute read with very cute artwork. I think this story is adorable, and the only reason why I'm not going to read this one currently is because I'm prioritizing other series. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this story. I am interested in both the female and the male lead. I think there is going to be something very interesting with this series as the mystery starts to, come apart and we get to learn more. But overall, yes, this story is great, just not prioritizing it based off of other volumes that I've read. Oh, also there are a bunch of cute and funny moments once she moves in and they start to try and live a normal life together. So yeah, this story had me laughing and smiling while reading it. I will definitely revisit in the future. So this series has 11 volumes and is currently ongoing. This manga is called Bride's Story. This is set in the Caucasus region in the late 19th century. This is about a nomadic woman who is 20 who is betrothed to a 12-year-old boy in a different village. She moves in with them and there she starts a new life with her new family. Wow. The artwork in this story is incredible and is definitely the best artwork I've seen from my entire haul. It's a gorgeous volume. Even this slip cover is beautiful. I love everything about this first volume. There's so much detail in the embroidery on the clothing, the animals, the nature. It's gorgeous to look at, and sometimes I would just spend extra time just staring at the panels. And also the story, I obviously really enjoyed that as well, but let me just make another note. There is an age gap here, but I'm sure the actual romance will develop once he's older. And I'm honestly really just interested to see how all of that unfolds. I love the female lead. She is very impressive. She's resourceful and skilled, and it seems like she has a lot to teach to her significant other. So it will be so nice to see them grow together in their relationship in the future. I also love that this is a period piece, and I can't wait to see more. And I just want to see more landscapes, more of the nature, more of the clothing. I will definitely be picking up additional volumes. So this story currently is completed and has 13 volumes. This is called Waiting for Spring. So this manga is set in high school. The female lead wants to make more friends, and she unexpectedly ends up making friends with a group of 4 basketball players who are super popular. She ends up developing a more romantic relationship with one of the players, and their relationship starts to develop in this first volume. So this story was pretty good. It was okay. I enjoyed it and I liked the chemistry between the two, but to be honest, I didn't care much for the male lead. He was alright. I've read so many volume 1s now that I can hardly even recall anything memorable about him that stands out. I think the story was somewhat interesting, a little over the top considering all the girls see these basketball players as gods, basically. But hey, this isn't the only series that is guilty of that. I mean, a lot of the manga series that I've read so far, everyone's like bowing down to these super hot men or boys. Anyways, overall, not going to be a priority romance series for me. I may revisit in the future, but for now, I have plenty of other series that have my attention with memorable characters who grab me and make me want to learn more. So it's a no for me. This series has 14 volumes and is completed. This is called The Abandoned Empress. So this is actually a manhwa since it's from Korea. So this is a fantasy story about a child who is prophesied as the future companion of the emperor. So this is the case until another girl takes her place and the lead is cast aside and is eventually beheaded. So in a turn of events, she reawakens in her 10-year-old form, but she can still remember the events of the past and how she was killed. So considering all this, she gets to start her new life, and it'll be really interesting to see how she chooses to do things differently. Alright, let me just first say that this is the only all-color volume I have in my haul, and I love it so much. I wish more manga would just make all-color volumes. But anyways, one of the reasons why I bought it was just because of this fact. And I really like that on the front, in the first page, this opens up for some very pretty artwork. In terms of the story, I think it was okay. I'm not sure if there is a romance in this story or not, but I greatly disliked the emperor. He was really rude and arrogant, and there just did not seem to be any redeeming qualities about him. Not saying there has to be because he could be a villain, but I'm assuming this isn't a romance because no way would she end up with a jerk like that, right? No way. I'm hoping. Anyways, the story was fun to look at, but I just didn't connect with the story or its characters or the main lead's plight. I just didn't care for any of the relationships, such as the father-daughter relationship. I don't know. I just did not connect with it. It wasn't for me. It was fun to look at, but that's about it. I don't see myself hurrying to buy any future volumes. So regarding physical releases, this is the only volume currently out, but I believe you can read this entire story in English online because it was a webtoon at one point that got published. So yeah, maybe I'll look at it online, but I mean, this was about $20, so I don't think I'm going to pick up any more volumes. So last but certainly not least is A Sign of Affection. So this manga is about a college student who is deaf and uses sign language and her notebook to communicate to others. So one day on a train, she comes across another college student, the male lead, who helps her communicate to a tourist, and after, she makes it her mission to find him and talk to him again. Eventually, they do meet up again, and they take a great interest in one another. The male lead is very well traveled and can speak 3 languages, but he doesn't know sign language, so she plans to help him learn sign language. So overall, this is a beautiful story. They did not get together in this first volume, but I'm really happy to see the build-up get dragged out a bit. I'm really hoping for a slow burn romance. But I think it will develop in a super fluffy, natural, and soft way. Not a lot of drama happened in this volume, and I don't expect there to be a ton of it in future volumes. It just seems like a calm and sweet romance, and I cannot see this vibe changing in the future. But who knows, maybe it does. Regarding the art, it is incredible. There are a lot of large panels focused on the characters' facial expressions, which I believe are so beautifully captured. You'll see just their stares, their smiles, just longing for each other. It just looks very sweet, very precious. I think this manga is such a gem, and I will definitely be continuing this series. So currently there are 5 volumes and it is ongoing. Wow. Alright, after reading all of those volume 1s, I'm super eager to continue many of these series and see where the plots will take us in the future volumes. I just wanted to end this video with my top 5 that really grabbed my attention in different ways, and those are Takane Hana, Cheeky Brat, After the Rain, The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World, and Bride Story. These series either had some element of great art, strong characters, great chemistry between the leads, or good humor. I'll be prioritizing these series first to the extent that volumes are available. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had fun watching me talk about these volume 1s. Maybe you found some that you want to try for yourself. So I really hope this was a fun experience for everyone. Like I said, please leave any comments if you agree or disagree or have recommendations. I'd love to hear from anyone who loves romance manga or just manga in general. So let me know. And like I said, it doesn't have to be romance manga in the recommendations. I will hear you out on anything. So thanks again and see you next time.